Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to Bangkok. Hello, hello. This is my first live YouTube live video, and we might be in for a real trip here. Oh, what to say? Welcome to Bangkok, Thailand. Here we are at the Grand Palace. This is my home, and I know I've got a lot to learn still about this YouTube shooting thing. I should be streaming in landscape, I guess. I think. Do I have that option? Oh, that was already. Anyway, I'll try that next time. Landscape. So, hey, John Flano here from San Francisco, California, living in Bangkok, Thailand, and I'm on my walk. And I'm calling this a walk and ramble. I've been doing walk and rambles off and on for a while, but only on the Facebook Live. And due to me wanting to learn more about how all this live Facebook stuff works, and I've been seeing many, let's see here, I'm trying to get this, hold on. Trying to understand how all this Facebook channel stuff works. Some channels I've seen where, in my opinion, some of the people are rambling about, I don't know what they're rambling about, and they've got 100 gazillion views. So, anyway, okay, so what's my purpose here? Besides showing you a beautiful city that I call home, Bangkok, Thailand. Totally love this place. And I'm on a walk, so I walk a lot. I average, I'll just say 20K minimum a day when I'm walking. And I'm on a route that'll take me anywhere from 40 to 50 kilometers at the moment. But I started way late. Normally I leave my place 6, 7 in the morning. Today I didn't leave until afternoon, but that's okay because it's a little cooler. Although the weather here in Bangkok's not so hot at the moment. Okay, so why am I doing this? Well, I have a lot of stuff I want to ramble about and see if I can get people to comment and join the ramble and add to the discussion. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in this world. And I'm one of these guys who's into UFOs, aliens, multi-dimensional stuff. And I'm also an actor. I'm a tour leader and a big motorcycle enthusiast. So I think some of the stuff I'm open to ramble about, pretty much anything motorcycles. I love motorcycles. I'm not like some people think I'm just some Harley dude. I'm not a Harley dude. I'm not that kind of a motorcycle guy. I'm a motorcycle enthusiast. I love, hold on here. Sorry guys. I love motorcycles. Simple. And so, yeah, I want to start generating some conversations on some of these things like government issues. Things aren't exactly the way we see it, right? So I'm one of these guys who likes to watch some of the channels, Grant Cameron, Richard Dolan. There's a lot of others out there as well, as you know, but those are my two main guys I like to follow up with. I think they're pretty awesome dudes. I love their attitude, love their research that they do. And I was just listening to something about DARPA. It was some lady, I should know her name when I'm doing this, I'm sorry. But a lady who wrote a book about DARPA, and it was quite fascinating. The interview was actually done in 2015. So, yeah, I'm into understanding all these things that are happening that the average public doesn't seem to either want to acknowledge, or they're too busy with life to pay attention to some of this stuff. I'm really into the whole UFO disclosure. I'm also a believer in the consciousness aspect of everything. I'm not an experiencer as far as I know. I have had some very interesting things happen when I was younger, but I can't connect it to anything. We got some models here doing their thing. Swadee Kap. Hello, hi.
Hello.
Hi. Where are you from?
China.
Oh, cool. I'm from San Francisco. We've got a nice Chinatown there. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Yeah, so we've got a lot of Chinese tourists here in Thailand, actually in Southeast Asia in general. So I'm into this whole UFO stuff. And God, how would I say my interest in a nutshell? Motorcycles, the arts, music. I'm not into politics at all, really. I'm just into people not being bullshitted to, not being lied to, and people being given the transparency of everything that's happening. That's what I'm into. It seems like there's so much. Okay, so let me get into some of the UFO stuff. So there's a lot of people that have a belief that we can't be the only thing out here, right? There's got to be some other intelligent life form. Well, I'm in the belief that there is, and there has been some visiting us, and it seems like the government has more than enough evidence to support this. It's like, since the Roswell incident in 47, actually there's one more before that, 41 I think. Oh shit, I'll get all these names memorized someday, but yeah, 47 was Roswell, New Mexico, which really kind of launched the whole modern day UFO thing. And there's been so many fascinating things that has transpired since then within the phenomenon, within the community. So, yeah, I'm one of these guys who believes in all that stuff. And like I said earlier, I'm a total motorcycle guy. I love motorcycles, all types. Well, yeah, I guess I love all types, but as far as what I would personally want to own and ride, I'm into that adventure style bike stuff, the big, God, I don't want to pigeonhole, all those big touring bikes, the Yamaha Super Tenere 1200, the BMW GS 1250, I just said it. I had a GS 800. The BMW GS 800 was my last actual proper motorcycle, and loved it. When I was living in Dominican Republic, working in the gold room there, running their little security place. That's another part of my crazy background, as I worked in a few gold rooms and gold mines, some in Vietnam and one in Dominican Republic. Now it's pretty interesting. But we can talk about gold and Stitchin, or whatever his name is, the Anunnaki and gold. That's another interesting thing, the Anunnaki and gold. Yeah, there we are. National Museum. So the deal is, right now it's Swadee Kap. Right now it's 6:15. Is that what time it is? Yeah, 6:15 Tuesday. And we're just cruising around here on my walk. Okay, so yeah. I worked in the gold rooms, overseeing the gold bar production, the pouring, the production, and the weekly shipments. And I fell into that gig because I was a dog trainer. Yep, that's another thing I was doing, dog training. Back in Los Angeles, I was living out in LA, and I was known as the K9 Guru. That's kind of another story, which I can probably go into a little bit. But yeah, so I fell into this, oops. Oh, yeah. I fell into this gig in Vietnam through initially creating a canine scent discrimination unit at a gold mine because people were stealing a lot of explosives, and it's a really long story. But anyway, I ended up in the gold mine, or working at the gold mine, creating this canine scent dog unit, and kind of relatively early on in the process, I had the most bizarre slip and fall, and I fractured 5 vertebrae. And I had 5 vertebrae fractures. And when I came back, I was told that the canine unit's basically been dumped, like stopped, quit. And if I want to stay on, the only thing available to me is I could go in the gold room as the insurance necessary expat gold room security guy. And I was kind of like, sure, because the money was great, but the working conditions were pretty not so great. Super, super hot, a lot of toxic chemicals, and you wear a respirator most of the day. And you can work some pretty grueling hours sometimes. More so when I was in Dominican Republic. That's a whole nother story I don't feel like elaborating on right now. But so I was talking about motorcycles there for a minute. So I call it walk and ramble, right? I don't have a real steady flow of topic here. But once we get going more so in the future, maybe we'll get people liking this and doing whatever you're supposed to do to mark the channel. And I can start scheduling actual live things if I get any followers. I don't know. I don't know what to expect right now. But okay, a little bit more of my background, I guess. Yeah, John Flanagan, otherwise known as Flano, or Buster Flano. I grew up in San Francisco, actually Sunnyvale initially, and then moved into San Francisco, and lived up in Lake Tahoe for a while, lived in Santa Cruz for a while. Of course, grew up on motorcycles, so I grew up riding up in the mountains above the Bay Area there, above Santa Cruz Mountains, Woodside Road, Skyline, Half Moon Bay, that whole zone. Beautiful, beautiful place to live and ride. And initially grew up on dirt bikes, little dirt bikes, Honda XR75s and all sorts of stuff. I was also adopted at age 2, and I was adopted into the Flanagan family. They have a natural son, Tom, who's 5 years older than I am, their natural kid. And he's the only one surviving currently out of our family because everybody's passed on. And it's just, which way should I go? I think we'll cut up here while we still have light so you can see a little bit of the river. So Tom and I grew up, we weren't all that incredibly close, like maybe some other brothers, but we survived each other. And he's the Harley guy. My brother's Tom's Harley dude. Actually, he's a motorcycle enthusiast. He likes all sorts of bikes too. But I don't know what his current situation is, if he's got a shovel head or a pan head or a bull head. No, I don't know. I don't know what his deal is. But so our family traveled the world a lot when I was really little. My father was involved in some SRI, Stanford Research Institute, and that's he was involved in the creation, the foundation of harp. I think a lot of this is where I get some of the topic. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad I came across a bridge right now. Normally I'll hike over that other bridge and I cross that other bridge, but this is a better view here, actually. Thank you. So this is the Chao Phraya River, Bangkok's main artery, Chao Phraya River. As far as cities are concerned, I really love living here. So what's happening is we'll be walking across over here, going across a bridge over there and making our way all the way down that way towards the icon Siam, which is a new monster mall, and that's where I stopped to get my ice cream because I don't drink alcohol, drink a lot of water, and I ate a lot of ice cream as well. But I walk for it. I walk in. So here we go. Give you a nurses college hospital over there for nursing, which I go by there and also get my ice cream fix sometimes. There's a Dairy Queen over there. So, damn. I know a lot of people when they do their live broadcasts, when they do their live broadcasts, they're super pro. They do studio stuff, lighting, sound, but some of these people, like I said earlier, I see really a ton of viewers, and they're doing kind of just something like what I'm doing. They're walking around and rambling. They're at the gym working out and not even necessarily talking much about the workout. They're just rambling. But anyway, I was born a rambler. It's in my DNA and my genetic makeup. When I told you I was adopted, I didn't find out until I was in 5th grade. I asked my mother what a baby looks like inside the stomach. And she said babies aren't in the stomach. And she showed me a photo, or not a photo, but like an illustration of what the baby looks like just before it comes out. And I said to her, to Florence, wow, that's the way I was inside you, huh, Ma? And she said, well, we need to talk. And I said, oh, I'm not from you. Now, this was obviously a huge life-changing moment. And what happened right there, my whole life literally flashed in front of me. It was a huge thing because when she said, well, like that, she paused and she said, we need to talk. Well, that was a pretty simple question. She should have just said yes, but she didn't because I wasn't from her, and the family had said they were never going to tell me. She told me this later because she's a good Baptist Christian lady, and I guess during the court proceedings when they adopted me and did all the court stuff and had me signed over to my full name, my new name, John Brian Flanagan, supposed to be like, I don't know. I'm not going to go into that other stuff. But anyway, um, yeah, they had said that they weren't going to tell me. But it's really funny how intuition is, right? I knew something wasn't right because the Flanagans that adopted me were older than my biological grandparents. That's kind of strange, isn't it? So I grew up amongst all this, hold on here. I grew up amongst all this young, hippy-dippy parents and family stuff and the whole bless man, save the planet, one world, one family, peace, love, yeah, all sorts of stuff. And so yeah, my mom told me I wasn't from her, and I was pretty devastated. But I also, again, it was like an intuition thing. I knew something wasn't right. I didn't look anything like my parents or my brother, although my brother and I are very similar in height. That's about it. But I have like the biggest feet in the world. He's got like kind of normal size feet. Everybody, like my father had like 10 or something. I got a size 15, 48. And my height is 6'4", or about 193 centimeters. Currently about 100 kilos. And yeah, my brother's we're about the same height actually, if I recall. Just about the same height. Yeah, I don't remember who's taller now, but we're pretty, I think I might be a tad taller. And he's got well, last time I was aware, he had a big, long, crazy gray beard also. My gray beard has been growing out since I left Dominican Republic back to Bangkok. So I've always had a beard most of my life. Not always, but the majority part of my life I've had a beard. Short and neat. Now it's long and crazy. And it's been growing ever since 2015, yeah. So this is interesting. Normally I do this walk, like I might have said earlier, in the morning. So I come through here and there's not much action, but it's early in the morning. Everybody's rushing off to work. Oh, look at that. They're selling some good stuff. Here's some of the street food. This stuff here is really good. See the lemongrass they put in here? They put in the lemongrass. That's like really yummy. Sawasdee krap. Sabay di mai? Okay, sabay di. So, I don't really speak much Thai. I have like little Thai stuff that I speak. But everybody thinks I speak Thai because what I speak, I guess, for the most part, it's okay. For the most part. Yeah, so I was adopted. And I did find my real biological mother and father later in life when I was 21. I think I'm going to save that ramble for another broadcast. We're doing oh, this is so good, the corn here. They take this corn and they slice it and put it in a bag. It's really yummy. Sawasdee krap. It's really good, but corn doesn't have much nutrition, but it's very, very yummy actually. It's hot. And I put a little butter and salt on it. Health food. So, yeah, I'll do this. I guess we're doing like a Flano walk and ramble, kind of a discovery on who is Flano, where I come from. Yeah, so our family traveled the world when I was really little. My father was a radio engineer for the Stanford Research Institute. He was part of a small hit group. They were involved in creating the HARP Foundation for that whole system. And that's a whole nother ramble story right there. we sat on a little island called Norfolk Island in between Australia and New Zealand when I was like 68, 69, 70. And then I started first grade back in California in 71. It was 76, yeah, I got out, I believe. So here we go. Everybody's having a look at the big giant Yeti walking down the street. So funny. You get in certain districts of Bangkok where they don't see quite as many Farang. I'm a Farang foreigner. There's some of us. How you doing? There's one guy right there. There's people around here, foreigners, but not a whole lot in this particular district. I just crossed the river, and now I'm out in another part of Bangkok. So I think I'm probably closing in on my, I don't even know, 15K, 18K, maybe 20K. I have to check later. But yeah, being an adopted person is kind of an interesting life. I've, over the years, spoken to a lot of different people that have been adopted. Some have found their parents, some haven't. And it's really interesting how some of the adopted people don't really, some of them don't care about finding their biological parents. I find that kind of interesting. I think probably because my home life wasn't so super friendly, happy all the time. I was craving love and acceptance from somewhere else. I wasn't really getting it from my direct family. So I got it from my best friends' families right in the neighborhood. Their moms, their parents were like normal age for us, younger, more hip, cool, beautiful. The moms were beautiful, and these three separate families took me in kind of like their own. And the moms really treated me like one of their own, and that made life much more wonderful. Yeah, a lot better. And a couple of these moms, Marilyn Nyborg and Georgia Dow, who are still living together to this day. They got together when I was quite young, and I was initially slightly confused about what was happening when Georgia was moving into Marilyn's house. Marilyn's husband, Kai, moved out. Cool dude. They were the family. He took off, and then Marilyn's best friend, Georgia, moved in. And they have been living together ever since, happily ever after. Those two ladies were probably the biggest influences of my life growing up. And I can honestly say the person I am today is pretty much a huge reflection of what I learned from them. They didn't teach me the ramble. The ramble, the gift to gab, the rambling just came genetically from, again, my biological mother and both grandmothers on my mother and father's side. I was in a room, a house, a living room with my biological mother and both biological grandmothers. And these ladies, woo-hoo-hoo, wow, they would just ramble. But my father's mother, my biological on my father's side, she was like the grand dam rambler. And she would override my mom's mother, my other grandmother, who was also Grandma Betty. Grandma Betty was a tough old lady. She flew around in an open cockpit airplane, smoking cigarettes, carrying guns. She had a lover, and she was an RN, and she smoked and drank whiskey, and she was an ornery old lady. But yeah, when I first saw these ladies in a room together, I said, okay, I wish all my friends could see this, because then they'd understand my curse, my condition, my condition. I just couldn't help it. But I'm able to control my ramble pretty good these days. I listen, but in a situation like this, I think this is actually probably really good therapy for me, what we're doing right now. So, yeah, I will start doing more of these on my walks, I think. Again, topics I'm happy to discuss. What do I think about motorcycles? Love them. Any motorcycle stuff? Oh, okay, here's something. The new Moto Guzzi V8 85 TT. It's an 850cc Moto Guzzi shaft drive. It's their new adventure, kind of big adventure bike. It replaced, I believe it was a 1400cc. 1400 or was it a 1200? Ugh, shit. Anyway, it replaced Stelvio, the Moto Guzzi Stelvio, which was, I don't understand why they stopped making it, because the people who had them I think really love them. But anyway, yeah, so now Moto Guzzi has this new kind of big adventure bike. It's kind of funny looking, but I like it. And it's definitely not like an Africa Twin or a KTM Adventure or something, but it looks like a pretty capable bike. And I have to say, and I know this is a huge topic, the BMW versus Moto Guzzi topic, because they're very similar type of bikes. One's German, one's Italian. The BMW is a boxer, so the cylinders lay out beside you flat. The Moto Guzzi is a V, and the just like it is, like I say, it's a V, but they stick out. They're not inline like a Harley or something. And yeah, I had a Moto 850 T3 when I was younger. Kind of a hand-me-down from Tom, but it was a 1976 850 T3. Man, did I love that bike. But back in that day, I was still kind of a young punk, and I was into, ripping around the mountains as hard and as fast as anything could. And I used to take that bike, I'll never forget it, looking at that speedometer, like 112 miles an hour, and I was on edge, just barely scraping the foot peg up on Skyline Boulevard. Whew. Those were the days. Really loved that stuff. Missed that. But yeah, so motorcycles, God. So yeah, Moto Guzzi just came out with this new cool bike. This Yamaha's got their Tenere 700 that's all ready to go, meaning it's got to just get out of production. And it looks like a really cool bike. It's a vertical twin, 600 and something cc, 700 cc. And it's more of a lightweight bike. Probably pretty much good for one person to travel around the world. I don't think you could probably get by with two people all right on it, no problem, I guess, really. But when I had the BMW GS, I was really the bike did good, and I had poo on the back and our gear. It actually did everything just fine. That engine size was fine, no problem. Would have a little bit bigger motor, no problem. But I think a 800cc is kind of like the minimum for a proper go around the world a two-up bike, to load it down. 800 will handle it fine. Sure, you can do it on a Kawasaki KLR 650. You just got to take your time. I had a KLR 650 Kawasaki in 1987. The first year that bike came out, when I got it, they weren't very popular then. But they've been making them non-stop up until just maybe a year ago. They stopped production of the same basic model. Oy. Okay. I got to itch my back like a bear. Ugh. So, motorcycles, I like shaft drive over chain. Personal preference. Some people don't mind chain. Chains are okay. I just prefer the ease of maintenance with the shaft. And I know they're bigger and heavier, but I don't care about that. I care about being on a bike and not having to do any maintenance to it. I want to put in the fuel and go. Change oil, air filter, just when it's necessary. Valve clearance checking, only when it's necessary. So, yeah. What about you? Anybody listen? Anybody like into any motorcycle stuff? When I grew up, I had some really bizarre stuff happening, meaning I used to go out on dates on motorcycles, like in high school and stuff, and I remember pulling up to my girlfriend's house, and the father would open the door, sometimes the mother, they'd have me in, and I can even remember having a beer or two with one father before riding away with his daughter on the bike, Catherine Smith, if Catherine is out there. But her sister, I don't remember having the beer with Dad. So yeah, yeah, that was pretty crazy. And Sandy, I used to rip her around. Michelle Barrows used to rip her around on the bike. Michelle Sidoris, Michelle Barrows. God, I'm gonna blow up my brain trying to recall all that stuff. But yeah, so I grew up with a motorcycle and I had a car, I think for a minute, I had a Capri or something, and a truck for a minute. But my main thing all growing up was motorcycles. And when it rained, you get wet. That's the way it is. But back in my day, motorcycles were cool and they were around, but it wasn't such a common thing as it is now, and especially living over here in Asia, you're born on a scooter, on a bike, a little 110cc Honda Cub or something. Okay, so we're gonna head up over the river here, and I will stop here. We will get a little view. Oh, we're right next door to the royal barges. They're pretty cool, actually. The royal barges were like when the king goes out for a row. It's quite a deal. You get these huge, long, elaborate, beautiful boats. Ah, shit! You can't really see them through there. Okay, we're gonna get up on the bridge here, and I'll say my goodbye because I see I have so many viewers right now. One of the things, there's one guy that's got a gazillion viewers. I don't name his name, but I think the guy is actually a great human being. But he talks about the end of the world stuff. And he has his belief system, which is quite interesting. Yeah, you can't see the barges from here. Anyway, another time. I do this walk a lot. Nothing really particular special to look at here. We're just heading up on the Nurses College hospital. That's right there with the crane. Yeah. The big crane, the building, the tall one. Right in front of that's the original Nurses Hospital School. And this other big building's new structure they're renovating, rebuilding it or something. So this is one of the Klongs. Had a beautiful sunset we kind of missed. But yeah, I'll try to be a little more regular on my walking rambles here on YouTube and see what happens. You never know. I have no problem walking and rambling, and maybe some person's going to be bored as hell flipping through the YouTube one night and trip across this. Who knows? I might find some of it interesting. So I'm not a know-it-all person. I'm a curious person. I want to know the truth about everything, because I 100% believe we've been had the wool pulled over our eyes on many things around the world, especially history. Yep, I'm one of these ancient alien guys, ancient civilization believers. I do believe that mankind or something like us has been on this terra forma for a very, very long time, way, way beyond anything we've been taught. I think most of our history that we've been taught is pretty much malarkey, the whole caveman thing. The caveman thing is really, really a controversial issue, because I think the caveman was never us. So that's another deal. So here I am doing what I call dodging traffic. Alright guys, I'm gonna kill this feed for now. But for those that are sticking your nose in to see what the hell's going on, thank you very much. And yeah, I'll do this again. No schedule right now, just whenever I'm out on a walk like this. Tomorrow I'm going to be in a meeting, be riding around town on my moto. I will not be walking and rambling unless I do another late thing like I am now. Oh, that is beautiful. Damn, can you see that? Colors. Part of the temple. Oh man, you walk around here in Thailand, there's temples everywhere. It's so, so beautiful. Yeah, maybe tomorrow, if I get home in time, I'll do another walk and ramble, but I kind of doubt it. So I'm going to be out working on some other stuff with Mr. Brain Adventure Camp Tony on some projects we're doing. Anyway, thanks for checking me out. Really appreciate it. And I hope everybody's doing great out there in the world. Remember to love your friends. Tell everybody how much you love them and how grateful you are for everybody. And yeah, we should all be grateful we're alive and kicking, because there's a lot of stuff not so good out there, but there's a lot of beautiful stuff out there in the world today too. So tell your people, your friends, your family how much you love them, and stay cool, and thanks for checking me out. We'll check this in. We'll check in here again later. Thank you so much, guys. Love my friends. How do we turn this puppy off?